Hello, vinyl community, enthusiasts, lovers of all things vinyl. My name is Timothy Capetto. Welcome back to my channel. And again, today we have my father, Larry Capetto, or Lawrence, whatever you want to call him, because his birth name is Lawrence, but it is what it is. So today we are going to be talking about the Beatles' White Album. And the only reason I picked this necessarily is because I feel like the Beatles is a big influence on myself and my father here.
The whole world.
And the whole world in general. But I know a lot of you guys are very familiar with the way that this album looks like. But let's just kind of talk about this record a little bit. I mean, first off, did you ever have a copy of this record?
I had all the Beatle records. When I went down to our local record store recently, I pulled out all the original album covers that I told Tim that I had. I had them all. I had them all, and I'm ashamed to say I don't have them today. But I've got the memories. But this is probably one of my favorite albums. The Beatles the only double album they did.
Yep.
White Album. Well, actually, Hollywood Bowl might have had a double album at one time, but this is really their major release, the double album, the White Album. So I don't know why they call it the White Album, though.
Well, I think either someone in one of the videos told me this, or I just read it somewhere. But
maybe because it's white.
Well, it's because it's white, yeah. But actually, the whole thing I didn't know is I thought it was actually called the White Album. It never titled it or whatever on the actual album. But it was given that nickname because of the White Album, but it was just called the self-titled The Beatles, which I believe that's the only album in their catalog that is called that.
Yep.
So, but I originally bought this on CD when they remastered it. And this is actually a reissue of this as well, so this is not an original pressing or anything like that, but still, they sound great. Which, let me ask you that. I mean, because you found this out because of me. What do you think about this whole thing about repressing old records and making them like new again, where instead of just going down and getting a used pressing of a vinyl? What do you think about that?
Well, it depends. If it's a rare used one, you want that. If it's a nicely done remastered album, it sounds great. So I think they're both great. It just depends on your collection and what you want to do. It's like collecting coins, Some are old, some are new. But I gotta tell you, I'm excited because Tim's been in the vinyl recently, and again, we used to call them records back then. But this is funny because a lot of kids today growing up don't even know what a record is. You got it's almost like a CD, but it doesn't use a laser light to play. It's got a needle, and you all know that a needle. You got to keep it clean and all that. And sometimes you can hear the scratches, but it's really, we call them full circle. My father, Robert William Capetto, actually did a documentary on him. He was a trumpet player, but he did 78 RPM records. Any of you have a 78 RPM? Do you have any 78s?
I do not. I've heard.
Does your record player even play 78?
No. So if I ever got one, I couldn't play it on that. I guess it's a little more
unless
rare,
you just go like this really fast.
Right.
78 RPMs.
Which it is kind of interesting because I have one record in my collection, Ed Sheeran. His record, it's a regular. Not 45.
33?
33.
And a third.
Yeah, excuse me. Thank you.
And a third.
I have that, and the thing that's funny about that is it plays at what you would play a 7-inch record at 45, which I found that interesting.
Yeah.
It is. I don't. There's probably some records that have been like that, but I found that really interesting because I started the record and it sounded very odd. So I figured really, really quickly that was supposed to be played like that. So some are played like that as well. But anyway, we're kind of rambling here a little bit, but let's get into talking about this.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. The 78s were like a dinner plate. They were really thick. How many of you out there have a 78 RPM? You gotta have them write in and
that would be good.
I like to know the name of the song too. But anyways, this is probably one of their best albums.
Yes. So actually, I guess we have to open this up a little bit here, but so let's just kind of go through this a little bit here. I'm talking about these songs. So starts off with "Back in the USSR,"
and he plays that. Paul McCartney still plays that in concert. I've seen him 3 times. Awesome.
Yeah, I haven't gone. I don't know why, but "Dear Prudence." I don't know if that's ever. That's the one thing is too. A lot of these songs until Paul McCartney went back on tour, they were never played.
Well, that's true. After the Beatles quit touring in 1966. They recorded. Everything was recorded, never played live. Now Paul's coming out now. Paul McCartney's, 74, 75 years old? He's playing these songs, and it's just amazing, the nostalgia of that. It's the closest I'll ever get to Beatles concert. But who sang Dear Prudence? Do you remember which Beatles sang that?
Yes, that's John Lennon.
That's right.
John Lennon, which it's one of my favorite songs on this album. Of course, Back in the USSRs as well. But there's just so many obscure tracks The one of them is of course the number 9. Obviously, that's,
Timothy's favorite song is Revolution.
it really,
it
really
drove
is.
him crazy, man.
It like I've said before, I think in one of my videos, it made me feel like I was actually on drugs because it literally just was so bizarre and I couldn't stand it. But let's see here, Oobla Dee Oobla Da.
That's my favorite.
That's a good song as well. I really like that one. One that it's kind of well, you gotta love Paul McCartney's sense of humor. The continuing story of Bungalow Bill, which they all sing on that, but I just remember he's at the beginning of that. Doing like a monologue type thing, and then they go, "Hey, Buffalo Bill."
Yeah, that's a good song.
That's a really good one. But of course, one of the probably most classic tracks on this is "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
George Harrison.
George Harrison. Yep.
Great George Harrison.
Yes.
Happiness is a Warm Gun. That's interesting.
That's a very interesting song.
All these songs in the middle of these albums is just like, wow.
It kind of starts off just like you're like, you start off with some of these songs back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Glass Onion, Oobla Dee Oobla Da, that's a tongue twister. And it's just like, okay, awesome, yeah, I can get down with this. Then you start getting into after My Guitar Gently Weeps, Happiness is a Warm Gun, Martha, My Dear, which is good. But there's just so many, the Piggy song,
Piggies.
Yep, that's the one I was just looking at. It's just like, what made these guys want to do some of these songs?
They wrote a song about a blackbird, a pig, and a raccoon.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Rocky Raccoon. Let's see here. Of course, Birthday.
That's one of my favorites.
That's
Everybody
a great song.
said that.
Mm-hmm. There's been several
Good rock and roll.
several people that have covered that song as well. Mother Nature's Son. Let's see here. Sexy Sadie. That's
Why don't we do it in the road? Sexy Sadie.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. Helter Skelter. Do you know the story behind Helter Skelter?
Some.
That is an intense song, and if you take drugs, it makes you want to do crazy things. So don't take drugs. But anyways, Paul McCartney played that in concert. It was awesome. It was. I thought Helter Skelter, but he did it really good.
Yep. That's one of my favorites on here. Revolution number 1. Which is great. Didn't they do another version of that?
Yeah, they've done several versions. That's the old slow version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say you want a revolution. Yep. Yep. Honey Pie. That's another weird, obscure one. Lots of obscured ones on here. And of course, I still think to this day it's very interesting, but good song, Good Night.
I like that.
It's kind of cool to end the song with "Good Night." Yep, this is in the album, but yeah, I mean this album by far. I mean, of course, I can't say I've heard every single Beatles album back to front yet, but I haven't bought them. But I've heard a lot of their stuff on CDs and stuff like that. But so far, I mean, this is a really great album. I truly enjoy this album. It's one of my favorites.
Don't play it backwards though. You'll get hidden messages. It'll, play with your brain back. Does that got the green or the red Apple label on that?
This one's the green.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the. I'm pretty sure this is
Let
the
It Be
green.
got red. Yeah, that's got
that's
the
the
original green apple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Let It Be was the red, which we had to look
Isn't
that
there a
up.
computer company called Apple too?
Yes.
Do you know they actually got sued at one time? There was a lawsuit. Oh, anyways.
Oh my goodness.
So another day.
Yeah, another day, another time.
Should have called himself Orange.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of parodies of that in movies and things like that and cartoons. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. Vinyl community, we're the best community out there on YouTube, hands down. And we will see you guys in the next video. But make sure you keep spinning that wax because it is a lifestyle. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.